Certified Money Watch. There is no simple formula for creating a household budget, but there are some basic rules you should follow. There are also a few budgeting mistakes you should work hard to avoid. Our friend Joe Bert is here from Certified Financial Group to help you out. Good morning, Joe.
Morning, Tom.
We talk about budgets almost every time you come here, no matter what the subjects are. They're vitally important.
Well, when you think of any successful organization, whether it's a corporation, whether it's a foundation, whether it's a charitable organization, you have to have a budget to work from. And every family, every individual is its own financial organization. And if you don't have a budget, you may be in trouble.
And we often hear about the things that you need to do right, but we don't necessarily talk about the mistakes sometimes. So let's talk about some. First of all, setting a budget that's too rigid.
Well, first of all, as you said, you don't want to set up something that you can't live with, but you have to be realistic. You don't want to let the perfect get in the way of doing good. So at least start with something. Get down all those expenses that you might spend money on, and that's the starting point. Very simple. But don't wait to, say, this thing isn't quite perfect yet, I'm not going to start doing it.
Another big mistake, leaving savings out of the equation.
Well, savings needs to be a part of your budget. Sometimes, in fact, most of the times, people save what's left. What you need to do is spend what's left. Put savings at the top of the list, because if you're not saving for yourself, as we've said time and time again, if you're only depending on Social Security, it's not going to be a pretty picture. You've got to save and invest for yourself. Use your IRA, use your 401k to the max.
Yeah, because one day you're going to need that savings.
You got it.
Waiting until the end of the month to review receipts and expenditures.
You need to put that expense down when you spend it. Don't, wait till the end of the month, get all those receipts together, and by then the horse is already out of the barn. Kentucky Derby talk here.
Very smooth.
but it's long gone, and you have to keep track of it as you go through it to see if, in fact, you're staying in budget.
Inaccurately accounting for regular expenses, how does that happen?
Well, it's like property taxes or your car insurance or the life insurance. Those things that don't come up every month, they come up once a year or once every 6 months.
Oh, okay.
You want to look at what that expense is, budget it on a quarterly basis, and set that money aside, because those are the things that come back and surprise you.
And often, I'll tell you this, I've learned this lesson in my life, sometimes those things that are supposed to be regular and the same every time can change a little bit. And you have to check them. You got to check them. And that's how you stay on top of it. Because if you haven't seen what it's been and all of a sudden it's higher, you don't know about it. And making things too complicated. This happens a lot. Well, once again, it's trying to make it perfect until I get it right. You want to keep it simple. Use an Excel spreadsheet if you can. And you go online. There's a lot of budgeting spreadsheets that you can use. Start with something, and don't let, once again, the perfect get in the way of trying to do good. Are those programs and apps that are out there, are they worth it? I mean, I know a lot of people that they dread budgeting like getting teeth pulled. Yeah, well, are there ways to make it easier on yourself? You know why they dread budgeting? Because it's a discipline. It's like anything in life, whether it's dieting or exercising, budgeting is a discipline. As I tell my kids, having discipline separates the winners from the losers in life. Budgeting for financial purposes is one of the first things you need to do. Will those apps and programs, are they worth investing in? Yeah, well, they're not. You can get them for free online. Simple budgeting forms ought to be free online, or set up an Excel spreadsheet. You can do it yourself. Doesn't have to be perfect, once again, but do it. Joe Bert, the Oracle of Orlando. I blew my line. There you go. Yeah, your smoothness with the Kentucky Derby earlier got me, Joe. Lauren.